Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. My name is Betty and I'm calling from Texas. My daughter is 12 and she's super creative. She wants to sell art online, but I have no idea how to guide her on the business side. I'm worried she'll get frustrated with all the logistics. How do I help her learn entrepreneurship skills without me doing all the work?
Mm.
Mm, that's a good one. I think that first of all, salute to your daughter because her actually expressing an interest in wanting to start this business is a great thing. And so I think as a parent, this is where you actually need to really sit down and come up with a plan for how you are going to instruct her on the different parts of entrepreneurship. I mean, there's so much from her identifying who her ideal customer is and how much does the jewelry cost to make and how much is she going to sell it for. And so I really think it's about the parent working with the kid. But before you do that, you need a end-to-end plan. What are all the things that you want your child to learn during this process? What is the most important thing, right? Like, she's young, so teaching entrepreneurship to her would be very different than if someone was in college, for example, and they were learning about entrepreneurship. So I think the biggest thing is having a plan and also thinking about all the different steps and stages of entrepreneurship and of business. And if you don't know those things, that's where you really want to do your research. We have a curriculum. This is what it literally is for. But I think as the parent, your first responsibility is to come up with a good end-to-end plan. What do you think, Kevin?
I mean, everything that you said, makes total sense. The thing that I would add is that um, one of the things you got to teach her is that it's okay to fail. And I feel like when it comes to all types of projects, when you're dealing with your littles, we take it upon ourselves to make sure that we can get them to the next level. And so you'll see, like with projects or at school, the parents end up doing this whole presentation and this whole project. And so I feel like you got to make it hers, give her the autonomy, give her all the tools that she needs, and be okay if it doesn't look right. And so, probably in your mind, you have a certain vision of what it will present as. And, for a kid, it may not look like that. I've done several projects with my son, the world famous volcano, and it doesn't look like a volcano, and I have to keep that inside and just let him go out and experience that. But the biggest thing is just encouraging her to make the attempt. And then after you see what the product is, after you can see how she does, then you can add your critiques. But I think for a lot of parents, it's the fear of failure, the fear of what everybody else is going to say about this business that she put together. Of course, she is, limited in her capacity right now, but this is just a step that she's taking. And so the biggest thing is just handing it over to her and being okay with it, no matter if it succeeds, it fails, being okay with the outcome and just, encourage her to make the leap.
Two other things came to mind too. I think with kids, you want to give them small tasks, right? And so being able to break up the experience into something that she could digest, I think that will also help her become successful at learning about entrepreneurship. And just how I was saying, you as the parent, you want to have an end-to-end plan. I think it's important for the kid to know that there is an end game here, right? Just like if she was playing basketball, you got this number of quarters, like these are the things you have to do, this much time is on the clock, and at the end, there is an end, right? And so I think when you break down those small tasks, help her to understand that there's a process and there's an end, now she has also a goal to work towards. And so I think that could also help.
How much of the planning do you think mom should put in daughter's world versus, mom laying it out?
I think mom should do all the planning. And I think the daughter should, kind of fill in the blank, right? Um, because then you'll actually